Dear students, I hope you are all fine. And I also hope that you remember what we saw in the last class. In our Unit 5, the first part, we saw some of the properties of the sound waves. And then certain terms that is connected with the wave propagation. And then we saw about the reflection of sound, the laws of reflection of sound, and how the sound is reflected in a plane surface, in a convex surface, in a concave surface, and when how it is propagated, and what happens when it is reflected back by a denser medium or by a rarer medium, and so on. And today we are going to see the next part of the unit. And as usual, before starting, let me start with the quote. How you vibrate is what the universe echoes back to you in every moment. Since our thoughts also have vibrations, they need to be pure when we create the music. Our thoughts will travel with the sound vibrations. So the intention of the person making the sound is important. Now let us move on to the topic. What is echo? Echo is nothing but it is a sound reproduced due to the reflection of the original sound from various rigid surfaces. You know very well that you would have experienced that in an empty room, when you make sound, you get back that sound because of the echo effect, because since the room is empty, there is no object to observe the sound waves. So at that time, we get the echo. So echo is nothing but it is a sound reproduced due to the reflection of the original sound from various rigid surfaces. All the sound waves, they are reflected back, but all the sound waves, they doesn't produce the echo. Why? Since they don't satisfy the condition for echo. Only when the condition for the echo is satisfied, we are able to get the echo. So let us see what are the conditions for producing the echo. There are two main conditions. The first one, the persistence of hearing for human ears is 0.1 second. What do you mean by that? When a sound reaches us, it retains within us for 0.1 second. Within this time gap, when the reflected sound reaches us, then we will be able to hear the sound. So the minimum time gap between the original sound and an echo must be 0.1 second. What is the second condition? The minimum distance needed to hear an echo is 17.2 meter. Now let us go on to the calculation of this. See, you know very well velocity is nothing but distance by time taken. So the velocity of the sound is distance travelled by sound by time taken. While hearing the echo, actually what happens? The source is producing the sound waves travels, hits a rigid surface, and it comes back to us. So it has moved to and fro. So the total distance travelled is from the source till the rigid surface. Let us take it as d. And after that, from the rigid surface, it comes back to us. So it becomes 2d. So velocity is equal to 2d by time taken. Now let me see how to calculate the d. So from the equation, d is equal to v into time taken by 2. And already in the first point, we saw that the minimum time gap between the original sound and an echo must be 0.1 second. So we substitute for t as 0.1. And we also know that the velocity of the sound at room temperature is 344. So we are substituting t as 0.1 and velocity as 344. So substituting that in the formula, we get it as d is equal to 344 by 20, which is nothing but 17.2 meters. So the minimum distance needed to hear an echo is 17.2 meters. I hope you understand this, children. Now, this is used to calculate the velocity of the sound. So the echo method is used to calculate the velocity of the sound. So see here, the source is producing the sound waves and it travels a distance d and hits a wall and it comes back. So with the help of a stopwatch, what you have to do, the moment the sound is produced, we have to start the stop clock, and then when we hear the echo, till that we have to see the time taken, that is t. And we know that speed of sound is nothing but distance by time taken. And already we have seen that why we are writing it as 2d in the case of distance. So speed of sound is equal to 2d by t. So substitute the value, you will get the speed of sound. So this is one of the application of the echo method, calculating the velocity of the sound by echo method. Now we pass on to the application of echo. It is used to communicate and locate objects. Already we have seen while seeing about ultrasonics, is it not? So bats produce ultrasonic sounds, and with the help of that they are able to locate the prey, and the animals, they communicate with each other because of this echo method. And it is also used to create real-time visual images of the developing embryo. So in ultrasonography this is used. So we have to note that this doesn't affect the fetus here, because it's only the echo principle is used here. So no harmful radiation is given out. So in no way it is going to affect the fetus. So to create the real-time visual image of the developing embryo, the echo method is used. And the third one, to determine the velocity of sound waves in any medium. In our book, the next topic is application of reflection of sound. Already we have seen that what happens when the sound waves is reflected by a convex surface, concave surface and a plane surface. Shall we recall it? In a plane surface, it obeys the laws of reflection. And when it reflected by convex surface, they get diverged. So the intensity will be less. But if it is a concave surface, what happens? It is concentrated at a focus. When the person who is delivering the message is at the focus of a concave surface, what happens? The sound gets reflected and reaches the audience, and the quality of the sound will be very good. So quality of sound is improved by curved surfaces in big hall, in auditorium and so on. So they prefer concave surfaces. And it is also used in ear trumpet. Ear trumpet is nothing but the hearing aid. And I have shown the picture of the ear trumpet which was used in olden days and which is used in the modern days. And the ear trumpet, the first picture you can see that. See, the kid is conversing with the grandpa with the help of the ear trumpet. One end of the ear trumpet is wide and other end is narrow. So when we speak in the wide end, what happens? Sounds get reflected by the device, and it passes through the eardrum with a greater intensity, and the person is able to hear it clearly. And here also in the modern days ear trumpet also we can see one side will be wide and other side will be narrow. So for hearing aid, this reflection of sound is used. And another application is in megaphone. This you would have seen our police people are making use of it to give information to a gathered crowd. That is, to control the crowd, they make use of the megaphone. Here, one end is wide and other end is narrow. So when they speak in the narrow end, multiple reflection takes place, and then the sound comes out with a greater intensity and it reaches a long distance. So in megaphone also, the reflection of sound is applied. So we have seen that it is used in ear trumpet, in big hall, auditorium, and in ear trumpet and so on. And now we are passing on to the next topic, that is a Doppler effect. See, in our day-to-day life, we would have experienced that when an ambulance comes closer to us, the sound of the siren will be louder. When it resides away, that is when it moves away from us, what happens to the sound? It will be very feeble. So taking into consideration the Austrian physicist, he explained the apparent frequency. We know very well the frequency of the siren remains the same. The source frequency remains the same. But why there is a variation? When it comes closer to us, it's louder. But when it moves away from us, it's feeble. This is because of the relative motion between the observer and the source. So taking into consideration the Austrian physicist Doppler, he explained, and that effect we call it as the Doppler effect. So what is Doppler effect? Whenever there is a relative motion between a source and a listener, the frequency of the sound heard by the listener is different from the original frequency of sound emitted by the source. In the picture we can see that the ambulance, when it comes closer to the person, see the wave front, they are very closer. So the frequency will be greater. And the wavelength between each wave is very less. You know very well, already we have seen that velocity of sound is nothing but it's a product of frequency and wavelength. The velocity of the sound is a constant, is it not? So when frequency changes, according to that, our wavelength also changes. So when frequency increases, wavelength decreases. So when the ambulance approaches a person, you can see the wavelength between the wavefronts are very small. So now what will happen to the frequency? The frequency will be maximum. So there will be high frequency. And see the other side, to the left hand side. See here, the ambulance have moved away from this particular person. Now the wavelength between each wavefront is greater. So when wavelength increases, what happens to the frequency? It decreases. So only it is feeble. The sound is feeble. But when it comes closer to us, the pitch is higher. So I repeat the Doppler effect. Whenever there is a relative motion between a source and a listener, the frequency of the sound heard by the listener is different from the original frequency of sound emitted by the source. Then how can we calculate the Doppler effect? Before seeing the calculation, we see various possibilities of relative motion, because we said that the apparent frequency is because of the relative motion between the source and the listener. So we are going to consider certain possibilities. So one of the possibility is listener move towards or away from the stationary source. In another possibility, the source move towards or it moves away from a stationary listener. So in one case, the source is kept stationary and the listener either move towards it or move away. In another case, the listener is kept stationary and the source move towards or away. And another case is both source and listener move towards or away from one another. They can come closer or they can move away. And the fourth one is the medium moves when both source and listener are rest. So having all these possibilities, now we will see how to calculate the apparent frequency. Let us see some of the assumptions that we have to make. See, 3 assumptions we make. The first one is the medium is said to be stationary. That is, the velocity of the medium is considered to be 0. And then the movement of the source and the listener is considered along the line joining them. The speed of the source and the listener is taken lesser than the speed of sound in that particular medium. So having these assumptions in our mind, now we pass on to the method of calculating the apparent frequency. See the formula. This is a formula that is given in our book. So what is given in the book I have written exactly, but in this, in your mind you can register like this, children. You can have V plus or minus VL, that is V suffix L, that is the velocity of the listener, and V plus or minus Vs, that is the velocity of the source. So plus or minus you can register in your mind, then it will be very helpful for you to find the apparent frequency for various position of the source and the listener. So in this we see that the apparent frequency N dash is nothing but V plus V suffix L divided by V minus V suffix S into frequency, where N dash is nothing but the frequency of the sound observed by the listener, and N is the frequency of the sound produced by the source, and V is the velocity of the sound waves in the medium, and V suffix S is velocity of the source, and V suffix L is velocity of the listener. So having this in your mind, now we are going to see how to calculate the apparent frequency in different position of source and listener. So you would have seen this in your book, and I have introduced a small diagrammatical representation, children. If you want, you can note down in your book, which will be very helpful for you. So actually, if you want to know how actually they have derived this equation, I'll give you an outline. I'm not going to the depth. In higher classes, you will be learning it. First, they will have the listener to be stationary and having the source to be moving. They will calculate the change in wavelength, and then having the source to be stationary and the listener to be moving. And in that case, first of all, what is the frequency shift they will calculate, and with the basis of that, the change in wavelength will be calculated. And merging these two equations, we finally arrive at this equation, children. And if you are really interested, you can see the higher class book and you will get an idea. So now, let us see the expression for apparent frequency for different position of source and listener. In the first case, both move towards each other. That listener and source, they are moving towards each other. Have one thing in your mind, children. When the listener moves towards the source, take it as positive. And when source move towards the listener, take it as the sign convention as minus. So now if the listener is moving away means opposite to this direction. So the plus becomes minus. When source moves away, what will happen? It will be the opposite to the previous case. So we have to take it as positive. If you register this in mind, you can very well, you can write the expression for apparent frequency. So the first case is both of them move towards each other. The listener and the source are moving towards each other. So when they move towards each other, what happens? The distance between them will decrease. And what will happen to the apparent frequency? It will increase because the source is moving towards the listener and listener is also moving towards the source. So here the sound will be of greater frequency. So now the formula, as I said, N dash is here listener is moving towards, so it is plus, and source is moving towards the listener, it is minus. So formula becomes V plus VL divided by V minus Vs into the frequency. And the second case is both move away from each other. So they are moving in the opposite direction. So now the distance between them will start increasing. So when the distance increases, what will happen to the frequency? It will decrease. Only the apparent frequency decreases. Already I have said that frequency of the sound produced by the source remains the same. Only because of this relative motion there is a change. So now the apparent frequency decreases. So since the listener is moving away, we take it as minus, and source is also moving away, we take it as plus. So what will happen to the formula? V minus VL divided by V plus Vs into the frequency of the sound wave. Now, third case, source follows the listener. That is, listener is moving forward and the source is moving at the back. So in this case, what happens? The apparent frequency is totally depends upon their velocity, in the velocity with which the listener and the source is moving. It's based on that. And already I have told you, if the listener is moving away, we will take the sign convention as minus, and when source is moving towards it is minus. So just substitute in the formula. So in the numerator, we will have that minus, and in the denominator also we will have the minus. I hope now it will be easy for you to write the equation. Have the general formula in your mind and have the consideration. When listener moves away, it is minus. When source moves towards, it is minus. If you have this in mind, the opposite action, you will have it as minus will become plus and plus will become minus. Okay, children? And the fourth case, the listener follows the source. So here, source is moving forward and the listener is moving at the back of the source. Here also, the apparent frequency depend on their velocities. And since the listener is moving towards the source, it is taken as plus. And now the source is moving away from the listener. So the sign is plus. Now substitute in the formula. So numerator we have plus and the denominator also becomes plus. So N dash is nothing but V plus Vl divided by V plus Vs into frequency. Here the fifth case is source is at rest. So source is not moving. That means the velocity of the source is 0. So we are going to take the velocity of the source as 0. Now listener is moving towards the source. So what will happen? Source is at rest. The listener is moving towards the source. So the distance automatically it will decrease. And what will happen to the apparent frequency? It is moving towards the source. So the apparent frequency will automatically increase. Since the listener is moving towards the source, it is taken as plus. So what will happen to the formula? N dash is equal to V plus VL. And the denominator, we have got only the velocity of the sound wave. Why? Because Vs has become 0 as the source is at rest. Okay, children? And what is the next case? Source is at rest, same case, but the listener is moving away from the source. When it moves away, we will take it as negative. So now the distance between them, since the listener is moving away, distance increases. What will happen to the apparent frequency? It will decrease. So source is at rest, Vs is once again going to be 0. So what listener is moving away, so we will have it as minus. So in the numerator we will have V minus VL, and the denominator, since Vs becomes 0, we will have it as V. So in the seventh case, the listener is kept at rest. So now the source is moving towards the listener. When the source moves towards the listener, the distance decreases. When distance decreases, apparent frequency increases. So now what will happen to our formula? We are going to substitute 0 for V suffix L, and sources moving towards. So moving towards, we take it as minus. So the formula in the denominator, it becomes V minus Vs. And what is the last case? Once again, listener is at rest, but the source is moving away from the listener. When moves away means what will happen? We will take it as plus. And the distance now increases, so the apparent frequency decreases. So in the numerator, V suffix L becomes 0, and in the denominator, V plus Vs into the frequency of the source. So now I hope you would have understood how we write the expression for the apparent frequency for different position of source and listener. Have one thing in your mind. Once again, I am repeating it, children. When listener move towards the source, you take it as plus. So when listener moves away, opposite to that, take it as minus. And reverse of this in case of source. When source moves towards the listener, take it as negative. And when the source is moving away, take it as positive. So if you have this sign convention in your mind, you will be able to write the expression for apparent frequency. Now, let us see the conditions for no Doppler effect. No Doppler effect, what do you mean by that? Already you have seen what is Doppler effect. That is, because of the relative motion, the frequency of the sound of the source seems to be, there is a change. So we talked about the apparent frequency. When both the frequency remains the same, then we cannot talk about the Doppler effect. So what are the conditions? When source and listener are rest. When both are at rest, there will not be any change in the frequency. So at that time, we cannot talk about the Doppler effect. The second case, the distance between source and listener remains the same. For this, let us consider an example. When you and your friend are moving in a bicycle, both are moving in the same speed and you both are conversing with one another. The frequency of the sound remains the same. Actually, sometimes we feel that we both are at rest, is it not? Because there is no change in the frequency. So when distance between source and listener remains the same, there is no Doppler effect. And next, when the source and listener move in mutually perpendicular direction. When they are mutually perpendicular direction, what actually happens is the components of velocity, they are independent of one another. So when they are independent of one another, we will not talk about the Doppler effect. And the last case is the listener move in circular path with source at the center. The source is at the center and the listener is moving in a circular path. See, you know very well, in a circular path, the radius remains the same, is it not? So the distance between the listener and the source remains the same at all positions. So when the distance remains the same, what happens? There is no change in the frequency. So we cannot talk about the Doppler effect. So the four conditions for no Doppler effect is source and listener are at rest and the distance between them remains the same and they move mutually perpendicular direction, and then the listener move in a circular path with the source at the center. And now let us see the applications of Doppler effect. The various applications of Doppler effect is to measure the speed of an automobile, for tracking a satellite, in radar and in sonar. Okay, so here radio detection and ranging, and sonar is sound navigation and ranging, which you know very well. So let us see with a simple picture. See, the first case we said, no, to find the velocity, mostly in the police vehicle, they have this radar transmitter. Okay, the radar sensor will be there which produce the radio waves. So the produced radio waves goes and gets reflected by the moving vehicle. So when they get reflected, okay, and the reflected wave is also recorded. So the change in the frequency shift help us to know the speed of the vehicle. So even in our signals we have this, in order to detect whether the person is moving with a greater speed, that is above the fixed velocity limit. If they are moving means they will be fined, is it not? So for that we use this. And another case is to locate the aircraft. So the sound signals, the radio waves, that is the radio waves is transmitted from the radar and it gets reflected by the aircraft, and the reflected signal is received back. And once again the frequency shift help us to locate the aircraft. So this is also one of the application. Before concluding, just a problem. Okay, already we have seen this equation, is it not, children? So, having that in mind, what is the velocity of sound in air at 46 degrees Celsius? And already we have seen this formula, is it not? V suffix t is equal to V naught, which is nothing but the velocity of sound at 0 degree plus 0.61 into the temperature. So, now the temperature is given as 46 degree. Just substitute it in the formula, you will get the answer. And I hope you have understood today's class. And let us have a recap, children. What are the things we saw? We started with the echo and we ended with the Doppler effect. What is an echo? It is the sound wave is reflected back. And then the two conditions for echoes. The one is the persistence of sound is 0.1 second. So, the time gap between the sound that is produced and the reflected sound wave should be 0.1 second. And then the distance between the source and the obstacle should be 17.2 meters. These are the two conditions for echo, and we saw the applications of the echo, which is used in ultrasonography and is used to locate the objects, and the animals use this for communication, and then it is used to find the velocity of the sound in a medium. And then we passed on to the Doppler effect, and we saw that the apparent frequency is mainly because of the relative motion between the source and the listener. And we saw what is the formula to calculate the apparent frequency and how it changes for various position of the source and the listener. So, having that in mind, and once again remember that if you want, you please note down in your book, okay, the sign convention that we saw. So, if you have that in your mind, you can write easily all the 8 cases. So, when we say that the listener is rest, have it as 0. When the source is at rest, then V suffix s, take it as 0. So, if you have all this in mind, you can write the equations for all the 8 cases. And various problems based on the Doppler effect is given in our book. All are solved problems. Mainly they are substitution, children. Just see what is the case that is given in the problem and immediately write the particular formula. Then substitute the values, you will get the answer. Hope you have understood it. Have a nice time and may God bless you, children. Thank you.